Hi, my name's Lindy and welcome to this channel. My website is www.lindycowling.co.uk. Email is info@lindycowling.co.uk. And the title of this short video this evening, that's UK time, the 3rd of June 2019, is Building a light body. Building a light body. So as you know, if you are regular subscribers, regular viewers to this channel that has been running for about 5 years now, you will know that everything that I talk about, share in any kind of form, whatever kind of form that takes, whether it's in a channel form, whether it's in a meditative form, whether it's in a kind of almost like a teaching format, whatever form it comes across, it's all based on experience, which means thousands, over 20 years, thousands of contact with clients' experience, and also all of the experiences that I have lived through personally. So it's personal and professional experience. That is the sharing basis for this channel. So it's all experiential. So what I'm going to talk about this evening here is the light body, or the energy body, and the changes in it, where it literally kind of, I'm going to say, restructures, transforms, rebuilds, comes online. I guess all of those things would be accurate, which has a direct correlation and correspondence to your physical body and effect, and that constant communication between the cells, the DNA, the cellular structure, the consciousness that is you, your energy field, and that correlation between light, let's call it consciousness, let's call it that Christ level consciousness if you like, all interwoven with that light, water, DNA, light, that consciousness, and the changes, the chatter that goes on within your consciousness, all parts of the body, physical body, the energy field, the etheric body, the mental body, the pain body, you in your authentic form, your pure form, let's say your higher form, constantly chattering to one another. And you know, I can laugh here saying your higher form. Of course there are going to be aspects of you, aspects of all of us that aren't always in our highest form all the time, because you know, you can get derailed by what we call archetypal consciousness, old patterns and traits in the family and programs. But this is a video about, as you're beginning to come free of all of that, transform through that, where you are already coming online to your inner cosmic blueprint, your inner blueprints, your inner templates, your inner authentic circuitry, your neutral, let's say unified, let's say 0 point version of you, the template, the cosmic blueprint within yourselves, at a point where you have fused with that, or are fusing with that now, merging with it, so that in its pure, authentic form, a template or blueprint that doesn't have to be carried forward in your actions, behaviors, any illnesses, diseases, in a distorted form, or let's say a mistaken form or habitual form, where you've taken on, let's say, a negative form of a generational family pattern, in other words, or an archetypal out there in humanity consciousness pattern, or a female pattern or a male pattern. You know, the list is endless. In other words, what I'm saying is, you can get to a point that you've hit a point in your evolution where you are merged or fused with this let's say your purer form of consciousness template or blueprint that is continually talking and restructuring and chattering to the DNA codes within you that have formerly been only influenced by programming, belief systems, family history, which we now know you can rewrite or replay some of these traits, many of these traits, so that they don't have to be carried forward in a detrimental form anymore. In an unconscious form, you're making the unconscious conscious. So all of this is part of what I'm talking about, and I've mentioned in earlier videos how you can align with these aspects of yourself depending on where you're at in your evolution, and if you're open to that idea, how you can align with the pure form of your etheric body, or the non-distorted, disrupted one. You can get to a point in your evolution where basically you're aware that there is constant communication in the whole of you. This is when I say the whole of you, I mean in your essence form, your spirit form, that's spirit essence form, same thing. In you as consciousness, in your physical body structure, in your more solid body structure here on planet Earth, going through your life, a constant chatter or information going backwards and forwards between your mental body, your emotional body, your etheric body. The etheric body at this point in your evolution, with the opportunity of, again, not coming as a distorted etheric body, or not quite aligned etheric body, but actually, again, the constant communication between a squeaky clean, perhaps neutral etheric body by then, talking to your squeaky clean, authentic, neutral template within you. Constant chatter between the cells, the DNA, the information in the DNA, the codes in the DNA, constant chatter and information between the fluids or the water, and the chatter between the fluids, the water, the DNA, let's call it Christ level consciousness. That's what I particularly like to tune into, but you could say, is that a form of light? Yes, I'm always wary about just calling it light, because I have identified in earlier years that there are light programs that appear to be light and are not light, negative light programs. So yes, a form of light. Let's say you tuning to that from your upper levels of consciousness, your heart levels of consciousness. So we have almost like a cosmic cake, a cosmic mix swimming around, where you have the DNA restructuring, transforming, chattering to the etheric body, chattering really in another way to the light body, chattering to you as a human being with all this going on. Information being carried and transformed and neutralized and raised in consciousness. The chatter between the water, the fluid in the body, the chatter between the DNA, the chatter between the light, the chatter between that consciousness, accelerated by that light, by that consciousness. This, I'm going to call it merging. I could call it a dance really that goes on between this constant communication and all parts of you, mentally, emotionally, in essence form, in soul form, humanly, all of those things, getting this information and attempting to up your game, up your consciousness, expand your reality, expand your awakening, go up into the ladder, the rungs of consciousness in your heart, all at the same time. Now, what the amazing thing is the fluids in the body, particularly water, is a carrier or a transmitter and an expression of the consciousness that is in one's emotions and in one's reality experience. but it's also a transmitter or a carrier and responder, all in part of this dance to what is happening with the DNA. Now, it's really interesting that there is this like huge expansion which seems to get speeded up even more the higher the level of light quota or consciousness quota you carry, and different things seem to come into play almost like organically and naturally, and yet the physical body, which is participating in the restructuring or the building or the merging with or the coming online to the light body, you in your higher form, needs or seems to need particular things in order to do it. So it is a very strange thing, but you know, you might be drawn, I've said this before, to be drawn to foods that you've never been drawn to before, or to come away from foods you've been drawn to. And I have to say it, I mean, it's the strangest thing. Certain forms of sugar, not sugar in its really toxic, damaging, processed form in great quantities, but sugar seems to play a part in its purest, more natural form in this process. It seems to be part of it, and even to some degree, you know, kind of salts. You know, whether there is a confusion or a craving of the physical body in alignment with like tissue salts, or whether it just because it needs more salts to compose, to comprise, to form, to help bring the form of the light body more into that merging process. I can't be 100% sure. What I am kind of feeling fairly confident in saying is there seems to be a correlation between certain forms of, I'm going to say a pure form of sugars and the water and the DNA and the light, all ingredients, and you know, even salts to a certain degree, all taking part in this process, this dance. I don't pretend to know all the answers because I'm literally getting the input on it as it is happening and as it is happening to me physically, but also literally some of the information is coming through now, and it's kind of new revelations and new informations I'm getting. Now, it is really interesting to me that this kind of expansion, if you like, the body seems to translate it, the physical body seems to translate it in a certain way, and it's really strange. But when you are going through this process, for all of you it will be different. I can only comment really on what I'm picking up on here in this channeling format, but also what's, again, it's experiential, what's happening with me. Is that it's interesting how much I've had to physically bulk up, you know, much heavier weight than I'm comfortable with, much heavier weight than I've been in my life actually, during the expansion process, and not just for the merging with my own blueprint and template, but because I've been saying for a long time now, myself and many others we seem to alchemize a lot for the collective. We seem to take on those big archetypal templates or big archetypes of consciousness and run it through us. So in order to process that, it almost seems like the body, at first I used to think the body's getting confused about it, but now I don't feel like it is getting confused about it. It seems to need that mass for a while. I'm hoping not for too long. I've been saying that for ages, but that mass for a while to allow that cellular water, light, consciousness, expansion and the building of the light body, let's say, to take place. And interwoven with all of this, different kind of frequencies or codes or even different kind of shapes seem to form within it. Now, really exciting that even like scientifically, if you like, albeit be it on the fringes of the metaphysical science, but even scientifically, you know, they've been proving for many, many years now. I think one of the early pioneers of it was Masaru Emoto, but there have been others since then, you know, backing this up over and over again, that the fluid, water, and bearing in mind we're something like, I don't know the exactly percentage, but I think it's somewhere between 70 or 80% water we are. So we're water and light and consciousness. That this can be proven that your emotional state or where you're at, or the light, the amount of light presence within you affects the shape, the size, and actual shapes, you know, can be photographed and measured, you know, in the water consciousness that we react with, and actually the water consciousness that actually is us. So there is this constant dance between the DNA, the light, certain forms of sugar. I'm not saying massively processed sugar and to go and be having loads of sugar. I'm not saying that. There seems to be a correlation between it, and to a lesser degree some kind of salts, where they're all chattering and building and forming and reforming and transforming to ultimately, I feel like I'm going to call it like a fusion, because that feels like the right word to say, not a merging so much as a fusion between what we regard as the physical us, our consciousness, the light body, the templates, all of this, all chattering to each other, the etheric body chattering, all in this process of a fusion, this dance that you become the embodiment of, but in your physical structure. Now, you may find all sorts of gizmos going on in your life in and around this while this is happening. For me, personally, I feel like, you know, I've been on this road for quite some time now towards this, but this really has changed form in the last few weeks. And it's strange, actually, because as it changes form, different things kind of show up, and different things are kind of showing up for me in the physical body. Now, I'm not going to go into detail with that, because this is something that is ongoing, and let's see where this goes at the moment. But basically, let's say my organs are working differently to what they have ever worked before. Now, when I first heard that from a linear, organic, let's say GP or doctor running blood tests, I was like, uh-oh, maybe this is a transformation that I've got to do that may transform me off the earth and off planet. In other words, you know, maybe leave the body. But since then, since I've settled down with that, I actually feel really strongly, and all my kind of input on that is it's to do with this light body coming online and the transfer over between my physical body having to, I would say, I guess in a way it's quite a strain, because I haven't just been doing it for myself, I've been doing it for the collective. But there's almost like a switch over, I want to say like a switch over in consciousness towards me becoming lighter. Now, I mean in every sense of the words, physically lighter in my consciousness, even lighter and more refined in my frequency. And it's like the letting go of the ballast. It's like a hot air balloon, and I feel that as the light body that is me comes online in this more refined form, that the big hot air balloon kind of goes, and then, you know, there's this going up in a different kind of form of consciousness. So this is actually terribly exciting. I mean, in the meantime, you know, it's quite interesting. I've got to get through some more hoops yet. It's almost like, okay, let's see where this runs. Let's see where this runs. You know, we have to pay respect to our physical bodies that are doing an enormous amount of work at this time, taking this in and taking this on. And you may find you have to, you know, you, like I say, you get drawn to different things to eat or drink that you hadn't been before. Or, you know, you could be someone that it doesn't go that way for you, and your consciousness doesn't expand by you literally having to have somehow more room for the cells and the DNA and the consciousness and the water and the fluid, which is ironical because everything that's actually physically happening to me, you know, I'm holding massive amount of fluid, and, you know, when you think about it, it's everything that I'm talking about. So it may not be like that for you. It might go the other way, and you might not be experiencing it the same as me. But I thought it was really interesting to share, because actually it's quite amazing. It's quite exciting. From the human point of view, it was also a little bit alarming, you know, to be having all these test results coming back in and, like, you know, not normal, not normal, not normal. This is like, you know, I did have about 24 hours thinking, well, maybe that was it for me. And now, you know, having to go in for round 2 again this week, I don't feel like that at all. I really feel I have got the handle on what's going on here, and there is a transformation going on, which my cells and organs, and I suspect it happens to everyone, starting to come online with their light body, building their light body, and they're going to fuse with it. That your organs, you know, do get different geometric codes, different coding, different information, and are trying to come online in a different way. So the old circuitry and the old system not being able to run in the same way. If your DNA and your encoding and your consciousness is giving your old circuitry or your original organs, your original body, a new set of instructions, it's, you know, your original form is going to get either a bit confused about that, or conflicted about that, or not quite know what to do it, or it's going to have to upgrade. There's going to have to be an upgrading going on as the building of the light body kicks in with the physical body. So it's really interesting, very interesting, you know, interesting to see how this pans out and how it doesn't. I'm absolutely certain what I'm saying is all to do with everything I'm saying here. And, you know, you might be experiencing these points of your evolution differently to me, but this channel is experiential. So what I share in that channeled format, or in that very human way, or sometimes in that very metaphysical way in this channel, is designed to help. It's designed to inform. It's designed to accelerate your consciousness, be a catalyst on your consciousness. It's designed to try and help you avoid certain pitfalls. You know, it's putting that information out there. And so, you know, I think in many ways it's quite exciting. It's quite exciting. And, you know, we always said, there's a few of us that's been saying this for a long time now, it has to get to a point where you become the embodiment of it. It's not just a concept outside of you. It was never a concept outside of you. It was just your entry point to getting inside of you. It has to hit a point where you become the embodiment of it. So it is going to come online. You are going to come online in your body, and it will get to a point where just not the activations are enough, that there's a fusion that goes on really with a completely conscious form of your light body that is at that point, the way I'm receiving it, you know, it's not that it's just you, but it's outside of you. It is you. You are it in the embodiment, here and now in this reality. So it's very exciting. It's very exciting to absolutely know that that dance is going on. And, you know, I think it's different for everyone, because I think our physical bodies need different things at different times in our lives, depending on what ages we are, what's going on in our, let's say, physical reality when we're going through this, how long we've been going through it. Affects us all slightly differently. So if you're not being affected in exactly the same way, don't panic and worry about that. It's really interesting, you know. On another note, I have noticed, I mean, I don't go digging around on social media too much. I do like Twitter quite a lot. I'm not really a fan of Facebook, and I don't really get involved in there too much at all, or the other platforms at the moment, though I might branch out into Instagram. But what I have noticed actually is a pattern here, that through quite a number of people that I know vaguely that are in the on a sharing platform or in a teaching platform of the journey they've been through, or metaphysical teachers, seem to have hit, particularly in 2019, but some of them in 2018 as well, a point where loads of big stuff is coming up for them in the physical body, meaning upgrades, changes, revamps. I mean, when you think about it logically, it makes complete logical sense. You know, if you're following a different, more refined organic roadmap, the body is going to attempt to refine with it. And if there's already some knots in the hose pipe, or things that are out of kilter, or an organ that's, you know, not working as great as it was, or it's under strain, you know, it is going to show up during that refinement process. So yeah, it's exciting, you know, and it's all about transformation. It's all about that kind of building your light body, and kind of like that fusion between DNA, the fluids, the light, the consciousness, the codes, if you like, becoming the actual physical embodiment of that in a way that is comfortable within you as a body and comfortable within you as consciousness. On that note, I love you and leave you. As always, look after yourselves, take care. For those of you that do take the time to watch this channel, or do take the time to donate to me personally as that channel, it is enormously appreciated. Without this channel would not be possible. As you know, I'm doing an enormous amount of work freely, and have been for a long time now, putting it out freely, both on here and on radio. And you know, it wouldn't be possible if I wasn't getting some kind of finances coming in for that, you know, and donations are hugely appreciated, because sometimes that is literally, you know, a financial lifeline for me. I love you and leave you. Take care wherever you're at in your process, and whatever you're doing, wherever you're at in the world. I'll see you again soon. Bye.